Well, hey, Gundam Maniacs, welcome to another episode of Gundam Explained. For this episode, we're looking at Season 2, Episode 1. Well, actually, it's Episode 13, so is it really Season 2? Honestly, I'm confused about all that, but yeah, we're jumping into the next part of Witch from Mercury after that slap. So what is really going to happen? I have no idea. I'm really just going to sit back and see what happens. Hey, but before we get started, if you haven't, please subscribe. And if you think this is a cool video, give it a like. Check the links in the description for ways you can support the channel or even join our Discord. We have a lot of fun there. But let's get started. Okay, right off the bat, we will now begin the duel. So does that mean we're getting to action already? Okay, it looks like they're explaining what is going on here, and it looks like it's some sort of unique challenge that we haven't seen yet, where it's a bunch of mobile suits fighting potentially for each other or just against Ariel. We see Soletta's at the top. Last pilot standing will be the new holder. That is pretty cool. Okay, there's Elon. He's all talking all his crap. Don't trust that guy. But it's kind of interesting considering what happened at the end of last episode that we're going to starting off where there's just a duel going on. Back to regulated, rule-based activities. What about everything else? I wonder what that is alluding to. But hey, at least we see some Haro and legs. As Rowan moving out. It looks pretty neat. Okay, that's a cool full shot of that Arzawan, unless that was the guy's name. Again, names in Gundam, but this is pretty cool looking. Okay, we're seeing Nika, which it's a big deal based on what happened last time. It's kind of her fault in a way that some of the tragedy that occurred last time happened, due to her connections with the people on Earth. And, my whole thing was, obviously, she was put in a situation that she didn't really mean to be in, and it's not her fault. And I've even seen online where some people are saying, oh, she's a terrorist, she's doing it on purpose. But no, and I think this episode does a good job of really showing that her mind is busy. She's kind of in the clouds because she's just thinking about everything that happened and that it could be due to her. Okay, and now we're getting a look at the aerial rebuild. Pretty cool that they're starting off right away with that. Okay, you got to say, the look of this. Can't wait for that Gunpla robot spirits. Man, some good shots here of the aerial. Again, very cool how they have, the dueling arena, and you can see it transforming with the holograms into, whatever the field may be. The result itself is the only truth. I kind of like how they're kind of saying that before they're taking off. Yeah, they're getting right into it. Your bride will be mine, Mercurian wench. Man, they go hard. And then, obviously, we're just seeing this aerial do badass stuff. I kind of like how quickly they just show no BS Ariel doing its thing. I think a lot of it is, too, because this show seems to be more focused on its character drama. So the action doesn't necessarily, the mech action doesn't necessarily happen all the time, but when it does, it goes all out. It even changed again, the hologram, because they're actually the next part of the serial battle. So I kind of like this new rules for new types of battles. It's funny because I feel like the rules that are being presented within this show could be used for like a video game. There could be a Gundam Witch from Mercury video game that's not necessarily a Gundam game as much as it is a game about the Witch from Mercury rules. I think that'd be pretty neat. And so, really, I'm not going to be able to stop and commentate on every single thing here, but it's just really neat that at the beginning of this episode, we get some awesome battles with a multitude of mobile suits in order to distract us from the real questions, and that is, what has happened since the end of the last episode? So by the end of it, the rebuilt Ariel now surpasses any other machine in the Benerit group. So it's cool that we got the new mobile suit, and it can hang in the duels as we expected, but what's really going to be going on here? Okay, it's cool to see that. Soletta's all happy at one Miss Bjorne, but it's cool that it's starting off with just really Soletta's point of view. We still don't even know what's going on with Bjorne and Soletta, but when I see this, it makes me think, oh, things must still be good if the celebration is just about her winning, not like, oh, I hope I get you back or something like that. New intro. But, as it seems to be with these Gundam intros, if they're like these pop songs, I don't typically jive with them at first. It might take multiple listens, but so far, nothing interesting to me. All right, so this line here is pretty much what the plot of this episode is about, and I think is what is going to be moving for the rest of the season's plot. But for 3 days, starting tomorrow, prospective students will visit our school. My first thought was, okay, new season, does that mean new characters are going to be introduced to? which at first I was thinking, oh, cool, new characters. But I'm like, well, I kind of want to figure out what's going on with these other characters. And then, again, some more of this specific type of world building that I think is very common in anime. Whereas when there's some sort of situation that goes on between two characters or groups of characters, how they're meeting, how they're intersecting, there's created some sort of experience that then has its rules and it has its descriptions of what it is. For now, they're doing this thing where there's mock classes that students will participate in for the new prospective students to come in to see how it is, and they go through and they take their time to explain that stuff. So that's part of this charm with this Gundam series, and that I've come to expect and accept, is that there's a lot of world building about the characters more than about the mobile suits. Okay, here's what I'm looking for right here. All the media are reporting what happened at Plant Quetta as an accident. So this is where they are dropping the notion that the characters in this world, while they're moving on with their regular lives, are still sort of questioning what really happened and what is going to be the consequence for what just happened, being that whole battle from the end of the last episode. If you talk about it, you'll be expelled at once. So yeah, it's almost like how it even seems to be in the show. They're not really talking about it, really treating it for the viewer like a conspiracy. Okay, see, here you go. Here's Nika looking sad, not really focusing on anyone. And hearing Choo-Choo say, it was terrorism. And again, it's because this is something she was caught up in. It's an interesting dynamic. And that's a cool line. It was real combat, because part of the difference with this show, especially the beginning of it, was the fact that all these fights, the combat that would occur, people wouldn't die. There wasn't that high risk of life. But it's like 2 weeks since the event that occurred, and these kids are shocked. They're stunned. I like that they are focusing on this. It's classic Gundam. So we're talking about Solita being in a good mood, and it says she went outside the plant to help Miorine, didn't she? Are they referring to something that happened just recently after the incident 2 weeks ago, where she'll go and meet up with Miorine? Because we'll see that she's not at the school. So they were talking about how, like, business dealings are kind of on hold. They're not even doing that stuff. Again, probably related to what happened. But here we're seeing the Benerit Group front, so it's cool to see, again, this colony/space station and the name of it. Crazy stuff that happened last time. I think that the best first place for us to see Miorine is more based on what's going on with her father, rather than seeing Solita and Miorine together happy. That doesn't mean that they aren't happy. It just means that right now the focus is more on Miorine and her dad. So it's kind of cool to see that she still cares, but she's still having to stay at the plant, I think, for a specific reason. So right now, this is where there's the discussion that needs to happen. You know, the Zeong in the room, they're all talking about what had occurred before. They need to find out who's responsible. They bring up Donna Fold. They also say, hey, there's some Jeteric mobile suits that were involved in the attack. And then saying we're working to identify the purchase route. So they are diving into that aspect. We saw where not only the viewer, but the students are wondering what that was all about, and here they're diving into that. Oh yeah, and with Daddy Jeter being killed, we have the new acting CEO being Lauda. And then this is where they're talking about those other Gundams. So other Gund format mobile suits that they're able to detect that match the gun format. So yeah, it's very interesting how we're watching these higher ups of the householders and even CEOs of the corporations diving into and trying to figure out what's going on here. I want to add quickly that throughout this show, when it's not like the pop music or some of the school music, when there's a lot of the corporate interests being discussed or more darker themes, I love the synthy electronic score that's going on in the background. It's really well done. So pretty cool, because we're now kind of seeing what could be like the official faction versus faction battle going on. It's the Benerit Group joining up all of their mobile suits that each corporation has, and they're heading toward Earth. I love seeing the space scene where we're seeing the battleships. This kind of lends more to the stuff I'm interested in the Gundam and sci-fi stuff. So yeah, I guess, you know, there's a little bit here where Solita, I guess, is maybe not hearing from her. although she's looking after her tomatoes, which maybe she already had access to anyway, but she's continuing as everything's cool, and it's just Murone has to stay at this plant until things have been resolved with her dad. And it's kind of cool seeing Solita's mom without the mask, putting it on, not seeing any damage or anything going on, so she's really just wearing it to look like Char, to be the Char clone. But also just, oh man, it's scary listening to her because she's well acted, even though really I'm just listening to Japanese, but of sounding like a caring mom, but it's like, okay, there's this plan she's got in the background. I think it's cool seeing Nika and Solita have this little talk here. Solita's just talking about how she wants to go talk to Ariel, acting like it's the person she needs to go talk to, but Nika, she's still zoned out. She's really still thinking about everything that has occurred, but I think it's very important that, Solita and Nika are getting this time to build their character development together. So this is weird. The Gundam pilots, if I'm not mistaken, and again, I get mistaken a lot, from the end of that last episode, are the students coming to the school for the mock classes or whatever to check it out. Look, we know Shadiq's up to something. It must be through him or whatever they're doing to set this up on purpose to have them come to the school. But it's really odd. It's like, don't they know who Solita is, and Solita just doesn't know who they are? I kind of like how that's kind of like brewing here. It reminds me of like what James Bond, License to Kill. Not exactly the same scenario, but where James Bond goes to, there's this main bad guy he needs to kill, so he pretends he's just some dude and asks for a job to be a bodyguard, and so he's sticking with him the whole way until he gets his chance. I kind of like how for this aspect, the antagonist and protagonist are kind of around each other, and you never really know what's going to happen. Goat? Okay, so this is, one of the Gundam pilot girls about to knife Nika, threatening her, because Nika knows things, and they know how Nika feels about the things she knows. So how much of them coming to the school is to get more in onto things, but maybe they also thought they could potentially be compromised by Nika and wanted to kind of scare her some more. So it's pretty neat, these interactions or choices that characters are making. Funny seeing these little montages with them just together at school. I don't know. They're just kind of silly. It's weird how they're almost making you like the character because they're giving her some humanity. Interesting how, I guess, Elin was trying to have some sort of conversation with Solita, but then one of the from Real Earth girls came and grabbed her away, so I don't know if something was supposed to be said in exchange. He's trying to do his next step. Is there then becoming where within this, what we saw the Bennett group versus Earth, where the cliques within the school or the Spacians/Earthians kind of add a third or fourth faction. Yeah, she even just bumps into him and says, sorry, I would watch where I was going, or I should watch where or something like that. But you get the idea. So Elin heard something, maybe that was the vibration of his phone or something, and then we're seeing this request timeout. There's no answer. Again, they're kind of leaving some breadcrumbs, but not necessarily letting us know what's happening. Yeah, because Nika is then closing. Yeah, it looks like maybe what they were using to contact Earth in the first place. Is this maybe potentially a problem? It maybe evidence of her continuing to contact Earth. Okay, and so Martin, I believe this guy's name is, or whatever, he's questioning stuff. He's seen how Nika's acting. He was eyeing her earlier, too, you could see. And she was explaining herself. She was just didn't want anyone to die and sent out the SOS. So the fact that they've been focusing on this so much means it's a pretty important plot point, that Nika is not an intentional terrorist, and there is something, some play here where she's going to be compromised, but because she means well, I don't know what angle they're going to take, where she's going to be a martyr in some sense, get killed. Okay, they were just talking about a Rumble Ring, a Battle Royale-style mock battle held on the last day of the open campus. So that'll be fun. So now they're making it a point to say that Nika's missing because they've been trying to get a hold of her. Obviously, that must mean something. Then Solita's saying, I'll go find her then. Again, something must be happening. Okay, yeah, you do not want them at the Fair Act, so something's about to go down. Okay, so Nika catches them and starts kind of putting in a word to get their attention, and that doesn't seem to turn out too good. So they got into the mobile suit and tried to stomp on Nika, and then Solita actually had a little scooter and like dove under the feet and saved her, which was pretty cool, actually. But I'm actually surprised how far this is going. The characters are already trying to just kill. They're already using this mobile suit. Are things really escalating that quickly? So then Soletta asks for a duel, and it's like, follow the rules. Don't kill me. Follow the rules. To me, that doesn't make sense. But it could just be that other Gundam pilot that's quite the character. You know, she's all like, yeah, let's go by the rules. Let's do it as a duel. Like she likes to play the game, for instance. And so that did it. All right, so Season 2, Episode 1, or Episode 13, as it's called. I don't know. They're promoting it in so many different ways. Though it was very interesting because it started off with the characters having questions that the viewer would have too. And then they slowly started presenting the next steps. And I'd say slowly in terms of the episode, but pretty quick in terms of the second cower, or, the second season. Because we are getting to where the Bennett group has decided they're going to go potentially invade Earth. At least that's what it looked like. And then we have some from the Earth have snuck into the school through some connection that's still existing within the school. And they're actually trying to just get the ferret or the aerial, or, what are they doing other than it looks like, which was the first thing they did, was try to scare Nika into not saying anything. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. I can't wait to watch it again to pick up on these little things. And obviously, when the dub comes out, I tend to understand more a little better. But yeah, let me know what you think below. If I missed anything, if you have other interpretations, I might talk about this on the next GE show. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. We'll talk later.